Okay, so this is our second video, and I'm going to be the RA.
I'm going to be the student, or just the non-RA.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
So tell me about your week.
My week. Oh man, my week. It was really, I think every week is really busy, but this week it picked up a lot. It's the start of midterm season, and I had my first one yesterday, which turned out really well. It was for my anatomy bioengineering class, and I did pretty well, I think, compared to the rest of the class, so I'm excited about that. It's a good start to midterm season. It's always good when you're like starting midterm. You do well.
Right.
Hopefully it sets the tone for the rest of them. But I feel like my head is like flying off, in a good way and a bad way. Good way because we just got our littles, and so I've started collecting all the things and planning for her big little week, and it's gonna be amazing. I'll tell you about it in a second.
Okay.
But in the bad way, I would say just not having enough time to take care of myself and just being bogged down with a bunch of work and wondering how I make it through each week. So basically, I have to like write a whole power paper. It's due by week 5. Like, what power paper is due by week 5? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But that I'm just this weekend I'm gonna bunker down and hopefully get a lot of work done. But speaking about Big Little Week, okay. So we have themes for every day, but that's not the coolest part of what I'm gonna do for her. So my lineage is, I don't know if I can say this on here. Because next week is Big Little Week, so I'll just tell you about what I'm doing for her.
Okay.
On Monday, I got things planned, set up, so that when she goes from her freshman dorm to our formal meeting, there's going to be a SIGAP pledge alternating with red and yellow roses for Chi Omega.
Wow.
And they're going to be spaced, properly spaced all the way to a formal meeting. And then when she gets back, there's going to be a vase in front of the door for her to put the roses in, and then inside her room is going to be decorated all over the place.
Wow.
And then,
That's so nice.
yeah. And then her favorite flowers are roses and tulips, so I picked the roses because we're supposed to go with the Chi Omega theme. On Tuesday, I'm going to do, I got Fleet Street to sing for her, so I'm going to have all Fleet Street serenade her.
Wow. What are they going to sing?
I don't know. I think they're going to have, I'm waiting for confirmation. They say they have some songs that they think will be good for the moment. They were some funny songs, though, so I almost wonder if they have made a song yet about, like, what it means to have, like, a big creeping on you, or something like that. I'll have to ask them. But Wednesday is going to be a crazy, crazy awesome day. It's a day of delivery, so every class I'm going to deliver her something like, I think the first class I'm going to deliver her favorite smoothie from Jamba Juice. It's going to be 5-day pledges, and then in the middle class I'm going to deliver her a mixtape that I'm going to make for her, and then the last class she's going to get like a dessert cupcake, and in between the classes she has lunch, and hopefully I can get her to on a lunch date with SIGAP boys, and hopefully another girl in her pledge class, and we'll do like a double date so it's not super awkward.
Wow.
And then at nighttime, I've got the water polo players. She's a varsity water polo player at Stanford. So I've got the water polo players coming. Maybe in the Juster Speedos, maybe shirtless. We'll figure it out. But they're going to come with chocolate chip cookies because that's her favorite kind of cookies.
How did you organize all this?
I have a lot of, I think I have a lot of like connections that I didn't realize. I was just a lot of friends, and I haven't really asked for money favors from them, so I figured why not take this opportunity to like spread my love for my little
Cool. So how did you get involved in a sorority?
yeah I don't know, my family never rushed, but I looked at like Greek life and I wanted experience. I wanted to go through Rush and see what would happen, and girls rush in general is a pretty stressful process, and it's almost like you put yourself out there and you don't know what you know what to expect, so it's kind of a gamble that you take. But if you do get a bid from a sorority, it's extremely rewarding, I think, at least for me personally. Mm-hmm. So I think one of my favorite parts about being in Chi Omega is the people in Chi Omega. We're really diverse group of people, and I have a bunch of new friends from places that I wouldn't have actually encountered if I hadn't joined the sorority. I don't think, at least. But my big is our president of our sorority. She's awesome, and she's also like half Brazilian, half Indian, and I'm half Brazilian, half Colombian, half Indian. She's also bioengineering pre-med. I'm bioengineering pre-med. So basically, any time that I have a worry or a fear, she's already been through it. She understands kind of where I'm coming from, and I think she's like perfect because she's not only is she a good friend of mine and a perfect wing woman, like when we go on parties on the weekend, but she's a mentor to me, and she's someone that makes my Stanford experience truly unique. I mean, that's why I got involved in it. That's why I stay in it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you ever have, like, because I know, like, people go back and forth on the benefits and disadvantages of being in the sorority. Do you think?
I think that, after this year, I've seen a lot more benefits. You know, when you first get into a sorority, you're a little baby, and everyone's shouting there's love, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's your spring quarter. And then you come back sophomore, fall, and everyone, and me especially, I had a huge slump because I snapped my collarbone in half and had to have surgery. And the girls were actually really good. They came and brought me things and took care of me when I needed things. But I definitely felt like I couldn't really go to many events. And I kind of felt disconnected with my sisters, and almost wondering, like, why do I pay dues? Like, why do I spend my sorority? But Rush, you know, it's funny when you put people in really stressful situations, and, like, especially situations they don't want to be in, but they have an obligation to be in.
Right.
They bond together in a totally new way. And I think after Rush, you know, getting our new pledge class and almost changing the face of Kyo in a way where we're more excited about Chi Omega, I think it's brought me a lot closer to my sisters and brought me a lot closer to my friends in general, and I've made a whole bunch of new friends. And so I think the benefits definitely outweigh any sort of negatives of being in sorority. So hopefully, like, this momentum will push forward into the years to come.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I actually don't know much about sorority life, so it's really cool to hear about it.
It's unique for, like, it depends on who you talk to, because we're unhoused, obviously. So I like being unhoused because I get the freedom to live with my draw group and the freedom to live with my roommate. She's a Chi Omega. We actually have, I think, 8 Chi Omegas in Montana, so it's the little mini town Chi Omega. But I know some other people have, I think people in houses either have, like, a really stellar experience or a really negative experience. So it just all depends on who you talk to. It's pretty individual on a case-by-case basis. Yeah.
So you also mentioned that you had been recruited for soccer down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of sports?
I do. I'm a big sports player. I actually got recruited here for Stanford also.
Okay.
But I decided, so I used to play for Liverpool, which is the English football club. They have a branch in Texas, and I used to do soccer like 6 times a week, 2 games a week, practices, and it was a lot of work. And I love the sport, but I'm tiny too. I started off as a center mid, so I really like that role, but they pushed me to forward, and I used to just, like, be really aggressive, and the consequence of that is, like, defenders are a lot bigger than you, and I used to get a lot of concussions, so they would just, like, smash me down. And I came to Stanford, and I applied, so I was looking at getting recruited, but I also applied for straight academics, and I ended up getting enough aid because I'm a twin, that I didn't necessarily, the only benefit to being in varsity sports here would be if I wanted to pursue it, I think, moving forward, going to, like, Olympics, something like that. And I knew that I wanted to do medicine and want to be bioengineer, and you can't really be a varsity athlete and do that kind of major.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to use the college experience to explore new things. And I picked up, when I first got here, I was like, okay, I can't do soccer, so I'll just do club soccer. And then at the activities fair, I signed up for club soccer, ultimate frisbee, and polo, and, like, 2 dance classes. And so I was doing that my freshman fall.
Wow.
And I finally settled on polo, which is kind of ironic because I stopped soccer because it was dangerous, and I picked up an even more dangerous sport.
So tell me about polo, because I don't know a lot about that.
What do you want to know about polo?
It's on horses?
It's on horses. Well, the true polo is on horses, yes.
Are you guys on horses?
We are on horses.
Okay.
Yes.
So what made you pick that out of everything?
I've always wanted to be around horses. When I was little, I'd gotten this manual of, like, horse care, and I read the whole thing, like, this thick manual of horse care. And I wrote, for Christmas, I wrote a petition to my parents, you know, like, all the reasons why I feel that I should get a horse, and how I would be able to take care of it. And they actually really considered getting me a horse, but we just didn't have enough money financially to pay for its upkeep, I guess.
Yeah.
So I never got a horse, and I didn't really learn to ride. I think I went to 1 ride-in camp when I was pretty little, but little people riding camp is like, let's walk around with a ring, make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
So I came to Stanford, and, you know, I found out that the polo club is completely student-run. All the horses are donated, all the equipment's donated, and they're willing to take you out there for tryouts. And I was like, you know what, I don't know how to ride. and I'm going against people that have been riding all their lives, but I'm going to do this. I'm just going to show them that I want it so badly, and maybe they'll take me. And they ended up taking me on their team. And I ended up staying last summer, training for polo, and I was actually doing pretty good. And then I just had the unfortunate accident where we were galloping down the field, and it's an open field. We normally would play in an arena, but we had to break away in an open field. And she just had too much forward momentum, stepped wrong, tripped, and launched me. And as soon as I hit the ground, it just snapped in half.
That sounds really painful.
It was so painful. It was even more painful when I was in the ER, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I hadn't realized exactly how much I couldn't use my arm. And I think I had forgotten for a brief moment where I was and what I was doing there, and I reached the door, and I screamed in pain. So much pain. The nurses from all corners just came running to me.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think the worst that I've ever done is sprain my wrist playing soccer. So
Really?
yeah,
I envy you. I've broken so many bones, mostly my feet. It's really funny. My feet are actually my right foot is 1 inch shorter than my left foot, and I have a feeling that's because of soccer. All my soccer injuries.
Wow.
This is my dominant leg. So, yeah, I definitely broke this toe and that toe and here.
But sports is still worth it?
Yeah, I love sports. They give me a certain enjoyment in life that I don't feel like I can get any other place. It's different. I think I just like too many things.
That's not a problem.
I have way too many interests, and if I invest myself in anything, I try and be the best at it, and so that inherently feeds the sort of I guess I would call it an addiction. It's not really a negative addiction. I think it's just passion for what I'm interested in sports tends to be. I've done a whole range of sports. In high school, I was doing varsity volleyball, varsity track, varsity soccer, and in track, sports that I decided to play were pole vaulting. So just a bunch of the most random things that you could think. I decided to make an amalgamation of them.
That's pretty neat, actually.
Yeah.
I've done a fair amount of sports as well. I used to run cross country and all the sports that don't require a lot of coordination, because I'm not terribly coordinated. But that's really neat. And it sounds like you're also really passionate about medicine.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How did you get interested in that?
I don't know exactly when it started, but it's always kind of been in my life. My family actually has had a whole plethora of different kinds of medical illnesses. My grandfather, he suffered from Alzheimer's, and it was really hard to watch him. I watched him literally I don't know what's the right word. I would say decay, in front of me, in a sense, mentally, to the point where the only way that we could talk or communicate was through, he would only cry. He would cry when he was happy, he would cry when he was sad. It was really, and being young and watching him go through that was tough. But then on top of that, my dad, he got a heart murmur that made his heart grow 3 sizes too big. So he had to have some serious surgery, and so I thought that I was going to lose him as well, but he's actually doing really well. To the point where he doesn't take medicine anymore for his heart, so he's had a full recovery. I've had a bunch of my own illnesses. I have an autoimmune disorder for my thyroid, and then my grandma has lupus, and so it's always kind of been around me, and I've always been really fascinated with the fact that the body has this ability to adapt and I would say regenerate and improve, and I'm really interested in that aspect. In high school, I did an independent study and mentorship program, which I was looking at biomedical engineering, but I wanted to see it applied through medicine, and I decided to go through the route of reconstructive plastic surgery. So I worked with the World Craniofacial Foundation, actually with the head of the World Craniofacial Foundation, who was the doctor that separated the 2 Egyptian twins that were conjoined at the head of Dallas Children's Medical. I worked with him and his protege, who was my direct mentor, and I chanced upon this family that was living in the city next to me, and they had 6 children of their own and 7 children that they adopted from China. All 7 children from China had reconstructive surgeries done for various things. And so I had made a promotional video. As my end product, I made a promotional video on how the miracles of reconstructive surgery. And I don't know, I'm always dabbling in it. My biggest fear, I think, is I know that I want to do medicine, but the fact that my future lies on the decision of someone else You know, no matter how passionate I am, and I'll always keep trying. I'm not gonna let someone tell me no, but the fact that the temporal aspect of it, like whether I'll get to do it when I get out of college or wait a year, you know, that's a pretty scary thing. Knowing that you want to do something, but that you are held back by the fact that someone else has decided your worthiness to do it.
I mean, like with med school admissions?
Yeah, kind of I feel so. I mean, like, I'm sure there's other routes, you know, to get in back doors. And I think they're looking for the kind of person that knows what they want, rather than just, like, flippantly applying to med school.
Yeah.
So I'm not a very good test taker. I work hard. I know in high school, they ranked us right from the beginning. So my parents, my mom told me that if I had ever fallen lower than number 1, then all my activities would get taken away. So I ended up taking like 15 classes and doing like crazy things. And I think I got burnt out. I came to Stanford and I was like, whoa, freshman year, I'm just gonna like do whatever. And now I worry that the moment of, I don't know, getting burnt out will affect me in my future endeavors. But we're all human, so hopefully they understand that.
I mean, I think I experienced a similar thing when I came to Stanford. I didn't quite have like that attitude from my parents, but a similar one. Like, if you're not the best, then we want to know why. That kind of thing. And like, I think when I came to Stanford, I also went through a period of being kind of burnt out, especially last year. I think like last year was when I tried to do everything, and I think trying to do everything was hard sometimes. And so, but I mean, I think like it's something that you can get over, like burnout. And I also think that if you have something that you really want, like medical school, there's always a way to get there.
Yeah. I'm hoping, as it gets closer, I guess I have greater anxiety for it, but I have a sense of like security in the fact that I know what I want to do and that I'm passionate about it, and I like people, and I've taken the EMT class, and I TA'd the class, you know, like, I've just done things, and not like as a resume powder, but just, I've always been doing things to have medicine in my life, and I'm born with passion, or be working with people, and I know that I'll end up doing that, no matter what path life takes me on, so, I'm looking forward to that.
We're 17 minutes.
Okay, so, we did that was our second one.
Yay!
We're done now.